It was a beautiful day Sunday, and if you live in Muncie, the easiest thing is to throw the kids in a car and drive up to Bear Mountains. You know, it's about 15-20 minutes drive from home. And there's always something to do for the kids. They're always excited. There's nice big patches of grass, the lakes, the little zoo, a carousel. You go further down, you can drive onto the beautiful Seven Lakes Drive and find their little place to make a barbecue. So it's always interesting and always nice. So we drove up. This time we took a little rowboat and we rode. You know, kids were excited. And then we drove up the Perkins Drive, which is beautiful. You can see scenic views, and you can climb up the tower also and see the Hudson River and beautiful scenic views there. We got lunch, and we're walking around there, you know, having a good time. And as you know, Bear Mountain is also a kind of meeting place for all these these Harley-Davidson gangs. Interesting people, you know, my kids are looking around, looking at the bikes and how does this work. You know, you have to answer too many questions, as is customary with any little children. So, you know, as I see these bikes and these bikers, I started to think myself that, in fact, we are not so different from these bikers, and we should have a bona fide from motorcycle gang, because we already have the dark clothing. It's true, it's not leather, but it's pretty similar. It's not bad. We have the beards, most of us. I don't think that it's a prerequisite, that it is a condition to ride a bike, but you know, I think that it adds to the image of the Harley riders. And some of us also have long hair, not all over the head, but a little bit of long hair, so we're halfway there. So all we need to become bona fide bikers is the bike, obviously. And you know, as I'm thinking about it and joking with myself, all of a sudden I spot a patch on the back of one of these bikers reading High Riders, and I'm like, what, am I seeing good, or is it probably must have probably Chai Rider or something else. As I get closer, I see he has a big Magen David, a big Star of David on his back, and it says Right to Remember 2006, and on the top is another patch, JMA, the Jewish Motorcyclers Alliance. Yes, folks, we do have a bona fide Jewish motorcycle gang. So we can be happy. We are already like the other nations of the world, and we're completely equal. I'm sure that some people's heart is going to miss a beat from happiness, and well, usually such people are too wussified to join a motorcycle gang, but nonetheless they'll be happy to hear about it. Well, I didn't speak to the guy, although I was tempted to, but when I got home I found out via the internet that the JMA is an umbrella organization for all of the world's Jewish motorcycle gangs, and they have plenty of them. They have nice names, just such as the High Riders from New York, the Highway Riders, Yids on Wheels, and of course the best is the Hells Angels from New Jersey. Not bad, huh? Hells Angels. So anyway, I'm looking up here and there, and I found out that the Hells Angels are somehow connected to the Paperclips project. I hope you heard about it, and if not, you will hear about it now. The Paperclips project began as a teacher in Whitwell, Tennessee, which is a godforsaken small place where there are only white WASP people, and they didn't hear too much about world events, racism, or at least according to their principal, they didn't hear about it too much. So she instigated a diversity program so that the kids should know that there are also other people and they should be able to tolerate them. And so she suggested to one of the teachers that they start a project about the Holocaust. And from here and there, things got to the point that in order for the kids to visualize and to understand a little bit what the number 6 million means, one of the kids suggested that they collect a certain item or something to commemorate, to have physically a view what 6 million means. And so they suggested they would collect 6 million paper clips, and they put up a website and they send out letters, and it got to, you read the article there. So anyway, it became huge, and they made a Holocaust memorial, until in 2006 these bikers, the Hells Angels, organized a Right to Remember. Now, of course, you may say that a right to remember the Holocaust is not exactly appropriate. How exactly does it dignify or sanctify the memory of the people who perished in the Holocaust? I don't know. But, you know, to many people, unfortunately, the only connection to Judaism is that they know that, you know, the grandfather was Jewish somehow and that there was a Holocaust. So, I'm certainly not going to take it away from them. And also, from another point of view, whatever can keep the memory of this these horrible events alive is good. As a matter of fact, I remember now that about 10 years ago or so, there were some pretty big articles in the Israeli media about, they made a survey in the Israeli public schools, not really public, but the Israeli secular school system, and many children said that, oh, finally now the generation of the Holocaust are going to die and we're going to finally stop hearing from them. And this is horrible. So the establishment really got shaken up from this, and they reinforced again Holocaust education, so on and so forth. So maybe you can say that anything they do for the memory of the Holocaust is good. But what really struck me is that this project, which really in my opinion is a good thing in many ways, but my problem with this is that it started as a part of a diversity education. Now, diversity is stupidity. Diversity has nothing to do with all this racism or Holocaust awareness, so on and so forth. Diversity in itself is not a value. It's not something valuable. It's not something laudable. It's nothing. It's a stupidity. I mean, what's next? Now for a diversity course, we're going to compare slavery of the blacks to the Holocaust, or the plight of the illegal immigrants to the Holocaust. I mean, usually that's where these things go. So I don't think that this was the right thing to do, or not, at least not the right point of entry, point of start. Because what they should have thought is that hatred and intolerance can grow even from the most educated and civilized communities and civilizations, such as the German people. I don't think the Germans were not diverse. There's plenty of diversity in Germany. They just started to go on with this ideology. As you know, Nazism was in the beginning just an ideology, like any other ideology. I'm sure that many people would have stood up and screamed in favor of Nazism in its embryonic stages, right? Because it's just another ideology, just like Marx and Engels. They just wrote books, and that's how all totalitarian and dictatorial regimes start. Not all, but those who are ideology-based. They start with the fomenting of, bored intellectuals who think that they are smarter than everyone else, and they put up all these stupid ideologies and theories, and this comes out of the cradle of European civilization. We know that Eichmann used to wash his hands after his... Oh, no, it wasn't Eichmann, I'm sorry. It was Mengele. Mengele used to wash his hands after he finished with his daily experiments, and he sat down at the piano and played Bach and Brahms. So he was a very civilized and cultivated person, right? So it has nothing to do with diversity. It has to do with hatred, with the addiction to the supremacy of your culture, and so on and so forth. So I would say that this teacher, even though she ended up doing a very good and positive thing, but she didn't have exactly the best of intentions. So in a way, you could say that this is the opposite of what was told to the Kuzari, the king of Khazar. He was told, your intentions are good, but your actions are not good. So I would tell this teacher that her actions were good, but her intentions were not good. But in any way, I think that you get to know something you didn't know. We do have Jewish motorcycle gangs. It is very worthy to look into the Paper Clips project, and I think that it would be beneficial to watch the movie. I didn't see it myself. It's not the first time I hear the Paperclip project. Incidentally, I heard about it in a radio once in a talk show, but I never seriously looked into it. So if I can lay my hand on this movie, I'll watch it. And these are just my thoughts for today. Thanks for listening, and have a good one. And check out the links in the bottom to see more.